Right, welcome back. Now looking at what has happened during the trading session today. Of course, starting off with the local bourse, we have seen the JSE. They're sinking into red territory after green trading yesterday to start off the month, looking like the first week of July and the second half of 2024 might have some volatility to it. Of course, the Asian markets also didn't help, as we did have a mostly red handover from those markets earlier on. So the all share today declining by more than 0.5%. Those losses largely coming from the financial 15 complex with a decline of more than 1.5%. Industrial 25 also following in the same direction, with pressure of more than 0.1%, but the resources 10 complex actually bucking that trend with a gain of 0.8%. Let's take a look at what is happening with markets stateside, and on that front, investors are digesting comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Of course, he did acknowledge the progress that has been made in terms of cooling down inflation, but saying that the Fed does need more confidence before it can start thinking about interest rate cuts on that front. So looking at that picture, quite a mixed one, but mostly green, the Dow being the only one in the red there, 0.02% below that flat line. The Nasdaq leading in the gains by almost 0.25%, and the S&P 500 there advancing by 0.1% so far. Let's take a look at what is happening across the Atlantic, and markets also digesting some inflation data. We did have the Eurozone inflation print for June coming out with headline inflation dropping to 2.5%, but seeming that there is nervousness among market participants of the still high core and services inflation. We are seeing a negative sentiment there across those European markets. FTSE 100 declining by more than 0.5%. The CAC 40 down more than 0.25%, and the DAX they're giving up almost 0.75%. Of course, looking at those currencies, the rand, displaying a lot of weakness there on the dollar. Of course, remembering just last week, it was at around 18, just under 18 rand, and now at 18 rand 62 against the US dollar, weakening 1.68%, against the pound at 23 rand 61, and against the euro at 20 rand. Let's take a look at the other currency pairs. Euro dollar at 1.07, pound dollar at 1.26, and the yen continuing to be weak against the US dollar at a 38-year low, just below 162 against that currency.